Introduction to Enter the Body. The great Bruce Lee produced many movies, the most famous of these being Enter the Dragon. In the movie Enter the Dragon, Bruce Lee needs to go to an island fortress that a bad guy owns, and he does very bad things that need to be stopped. And so Bruce Lee and other martial arts specialists come to the island to do battle, to fight against Han and his army. It's a very difficult battle, and he has to enter right into the dragon and do battle with it. In this video, we are going to explore how to enter the body. The body is equally as difficult to enter and form and shape and bring forward something positive with it. And so that's the exploration of this video, how to enter the body. The 6 main chapters are: As the Ribs Turn, Psoas Above, Psoas Below, Unwind the Spine, Supination, Across the Nation, I Found My Humerus, and As the Breath Goes. The first chapter is about how, while we're doing anything, while we're engaged in life, that the world turns. As the world turns, everything goes on. There used to be a soap opera called As the World Turns, and as the world turns, of course, all sorts of soap opera things were going on, and the characters in the soap opera were going through the traumas of their life, and these traumas and these stories were being revealed each episode. It's the same as we attempt to enter the body, as the ribs turn, as we're moving around in life, as the breath comes and goes, as we attempt to enter the body, anything and everything is also going on around us and within the body. So there's a kind of a soap opera going on within the serious work of entering the body. There's also the kind of the funny aspects of trying to enter the body. These will be explored. Chapter 2, Psoas Above, Psoas Below. In the I Ching wisdom, a certain kind of dice are thrown, and out of the throwing of the dice, hexagram readings come. There's 64 possible hexagram readings, and it's used as a divination tool. In the I Ching wisdom, often the statement is that as above, so below. As in the heavens, so on the earth. In the body, we have 2 key muscles that we need to engage and we need to support with. These 2 key muscles are the psoas muscle, P-S-O-A-S, that's deep inside the abdominal area behind all the organs of digestion and elimination. Now there's a corollary in the neck called the scalenes. The I Ching wisdom is Psoas above, psoas below, that we gain neck and low back length in the same manner through the inner work of the neck and through the inner work of the abdominal core. Chapter 3 is an attempt to unwind the spine and figure out how to release the coiled up energy inside, the tense muscles around the back and along the spine. We need to unwind the spine and open up to deeper dimensions of who we are. In the 4th chapter, there's going to be a discussion of how to use the forearms, how to release the forearms. We tend to turn the arms in all day long as we do our daily work. We tend to pronate, turn in. And chapter 4 is called Supination, which is this movement, turning the palms face up, supinating. Supination around the nation, how to use your arms well, how to use your shoulders well. Instead of turning in, you supinate. Chapter 5 is called I Found My Humerus. The humerus bone is this arm bone. And so as we enter the body, we will find our arm bone, the humerus bone, and maybe the humor of this video presentation. And the last chapter is as the breath goes, life goes. And so it's a discussion of the breath and how as we're breathing, much like as the world turns, anything and everything is happening, as the breath comes and goes, emotions come and go, thoughts come and go, ideas, new inspirations come and go, old patterns, we get locked into them. So as the breath comes, as the breath goes, we discover aspects of our nature. This will be a fun exploration. I hope you enjoy it.
As the ribs turn. This chapter is a parody on As the World Turns. As the World Turns was a soap opera in the United States that played on air from the 50s through the 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s and the 2000s. The gist of the name was that the world just turns every day as it does, and in the midst of the turning of the world, all the dramas of life are occurring. And so that was the soap opera. Now, in this chapter, we're looking at how life unfolds as the ribs turn, as the breath comes in and out, as we attempt to enter the body. Life goes on. So you see before you pictures of Key and myself doing postures. And in these pictures, our ribs are turning and we're breathing. And meanwhile, behind all that, our regular life is occurring. Everybody's regular life is occurring. That as we go inside and do the inner work, unfoldment occurs, new realizations occur. We open up inside to new ways of being, new ways of understanding, and we root out, or at least examine, old patterns as they come up. This is the process of yoga, and it's hard work, and it's not easy work. It's the most difficult work on the planet. As we grow up, watching soap operas, we are encouraged to do soap opera sorts of things. We are encouraged to involve ourselves in the dramas of life and fail to look inside for the true inner inspiration, the true depth of who we are. And yoga teaches us how to look inside, how to find that inner guidance, how to find our soul's vision. As we explore yoga, we open up to these layers of our being, and it's the soul who carries us forward as the ribs turn, as the world turns.
Chapter 2, Psoas Above, Psoas Below. In the I Ching wisdom, a certain kind of dice are thrown, and out of the throwing of the dice, hexagram readings come. There's 64 possible hexagram readings, and it's used as a divination tool. In the I Ching wisdom, there's an upper hexagram and a lower hexagram. And often the statement is that as above, so below. As the reading of the upper hexagram, so below on the earth. As in the heavens, so on the earth. In the body, we have two key muscles that we need to engage and we need to support with. These two key muscles are the psoas muscle, P-S-O-A-S, that's deep inside the abdominal area behind all the organs of digestion and elimination. It's on the front of the spine, but behind all the organs. The psoas muscle, attaching also to the iliacus, so it becomes the iliopsoas muscle. Now there's a corollary in the neck called the scalenes. And in the wisdom of entering the body, we need to look at how to lengthen the neck and how to lengthen the low back while we're in the postures. And the I Ching wisdom is psoas above, psoas below, that we gain neck and low back length in the same manner through the inner work of the neck and through the inner work of the abdominal core. Or as below in the low psoas, as above in the scalenes in the neck.
Chapter 3, Unwind the Spine. In this segment of the video, we are going to explore the spine and how to unwind trapped energy along the spine and trapped musculature along the spine. The main process is that we need to move. We need to rotate the torso, we need to flex, we need to extend, we need to move the major joints, we need to move the spine, we need to move the muscles around the spine, we need to do asana. Before you, you see photos of Ki and myself unwinding our spine through various asanas. In the everyday challenges of life, we are asked to do a few simple movements, mostly sitting and working on screens on computers. And in that process, we gain tension in our back. The low back muscles start to hurt from sitting so much and rounding down into the low back. Our upper back and our neck get tight and tense from specific actions that are not symmetrical. They're just moving forward with the dominant hand, twisting as you move forward with the dominant hand. And it turns into a lot of tension along the spine. And so we need to unwind the spine, the musculature along the spine. We need to move the body. We need to extend, we need to twist, we need to flex, and we need to do so in a conscious way. Now, Hatha Yoga gives us the tools, but we also need to apply those tools into our everyday life. Certainly, we need to move the body in different ways than we do through our everyday work activities. And thus, the asana practice, the Hatha Yoga practice, is crucial. Crucial that we take some time to do asana practice each and every day. But more than that, we also need to unwind the spine as we're in the midst of our day. We need to take a few deep, slow breaths. We need to do some twists. We need to move around in conscious ways that unwinds the musculature along the spine. We each should examine what we do through the day, and we need to make those opposite moves. So if you're sitting at the computer with your right hand forward and using your right hand on the mouse, we have a slight twist forward with that right shoulder and the right arm and the right upper back. And we create tension in that right upper back. We also create tension down in the left low back as we're twisting slightly to the left with our right hand forward and bearing the weight more down in the left low back. We need to look at what these patterns are and start to, sometimes twist back right, function more like a left-hander if you're a right-hander every once in a while. To think about how you're sitting. Are you sitting more on one side, say the left sitting bone, you're crunched down onto that left low back? Well, we need to balance that out. We need to exercise, but we need to exercise in a way that doesn't exacerbate the scoliotic patterns that we all have. We all have a certain scoliotic patterning, twisting in the spine, and whatever that is, we need to look at it seriously and unwind it so we can live freer and live happier. Supination across the nation, and I found this humorous. My yoga teacher was a Czech woman named Marie Svoboda. Marie was a strict disciplinarian, and in her 40 plus years of teaching, she became the queen of yoga in Seattle. She had one aphorism that I'd like to look at, a Marie aphorism, a Marieism. Her statement was, you should never see the elbows. And so what is that? What kind of a statement is that? You should never see your elbows. What it means is if the shoulders turn forward and the elbows come up, we're rounding the upper back, we're sinking into the low back, we're not carrying the upper back well, we're not using our shoulder joints well. The neck comes forward and we end up with head forward syndrome. All sorts of problems ensue, partly just looking at the elbows. It's the shoulder joint rotation, it's the shoulder joint turning in and the arms coming forward with that internal rotation. Let's hear directly from Marie what she has to say about it.
And also teaches you how to get the shoulder down and the elbow back. Shoulder down, elbow back, so that you get it way up here, and then you can get the arms together. So the people who are slouchers and have the shoulder high will profit very much by doing this.
In supination across the nation and in looking at how we carry our upper back, we need to drop the shoulder blades down the back, to roll the shoulders down, and in that process the elbows can come inward, and if the elbows come inward, then the arms, when they come forward, they're coming forward from the mid-back rather than from the front of the shoulder joint, coming from the mid-back from the low scapula area forward into the arms. That's with the elbows inward slightly as we're using our arms in a forward manner. As the upper back is repositioned, when the arms come forward, we find our humerus bone. We find our upper arm bone in a different position than it would be if the shoulders were rotated up and forward. In this manner, you're able to find this humerus bone of yours, how we carry our upper back, how we move through the upper back, how the shoulders and the neck are carried throughout the day really gives us a strong indication about how we're going to feel in our bodies as life goes on. So although we're doing a kind of a spoof on how to enter the body, it's no joke. We want to feel good as we go about our life. We want to open up to truly who we are and not get hung up by issues of pain in the body. Supination across the nation, and I found this humorous, are just clever ways of asking you to enter your upper back and your shoulder carriage and examine a better way to use your arms and the upper back and your whole spine as you're doing your daily activities.